If you're tired of rigid frameworks that don't fit your unique situation, I'm going to teach you the framework that adapts to you instead of forcing you to adapt to it. Okay, I need to tell you about the time I broke my own framework and made more money than when I followed it perfectly. I had this beautiful 5-step process: research, validate, create, launch, optimize, and I was religious about it. Every product that I built or every service that I offered had to go through every step in exact order. But then I had this random idea for a simple template that would take me 2 hours to create. My framework said I needed to spend 2 weeks researching and validating first. So I ignored my own advice, created the template over a weekend, and I put it up for download, and I made 30 new leads in the first month. And that's when I realized most frameworks fail because they're one-size-fits-all thinking applied to wildly different situations. So instead of rigid steps, I started working with flexible principles. And let me show you how this works. The first principle is value first foundation, and it goes like this.
And a lot of people aren't going to get this one because the common trope out there right now is to work on your weaknesses and build so you can be better. While that's true, you also want to provide the most value to your audience first.
If you're naturally a writer, start with articles. If you're a visual, start with templates. If you're a talker, start with videos. Same principle, different expression. Principle number 2 is natural progression. And in this principle, you let customer feedback guide your evolution. And you introduce flexibility by following the path that your audience creates for you. I can directly relate to this because when I first started, I would decide for my audience what they needed. And then once I got a sufficient amount of feedback, I learned that the product that they helped me build with that feedback was way better than the one I would just have built on my own. And what I took from that now is my main product, I need a certain level of feedback before I'll actually put it out there. That's why I'm building with a one-on-one service, doing the product creation in the back end, and using that validation with more clients before I put it out as a standalone product or as a course that someone can go through without much handholding. See, sometimes your lead magnet turns into your main product, and sometimes your side comment becomes your core offer. Don't force a predetermined path when your audience is showing you a better one.
The third is to build on what you're good at. The idea is you're constantly pushing a boulder up a hill. Eventually this thing's going to roll over you, or you're just going to struggle the whole way up. But if you find you're good at something, it's like coming on the other side and just the goal is to get the boulder down the hill.
Don't force yourself into it. If you love writing, don't feel guilty about focusing on written content. Your natural strengths are your competitive advantage. The fourth principle, market integration. And in this principle, you let reality inform your strategy. You introduce flexibility by pivoting when data contradicts what you're trying to do. Here's how you audit any framework, including mine, for your situation.
So first, energy check. Is it energizing or draining? Skill check. Does this build on strengths or am I forcing a weakness? Resource check. For example, if you're doing YouTube, you do need some level of video equipment. Now you can just have a phone, but you need to be thinking about how you're going to improve over time because you're going to be competing with everyone else out there that does have a nice camera, does have good lighting, that does have a nice microphone. Timeline check. Does this fit with reality? Outcome check. Does this get me where I want to go? And as a bonus, alignment check. This is a key piece that most creators and entrepreneurs miss. I do have this included in 21 Days to Products That Pay. Check that out in the link below.
And here are some red flags that you're forcing a framework. If you're constantly making excuses for why you can't follow it, if you feel guilty about adapting it to your situation, if it requires you to become someone you're not in a way of stretching yourself, but in a way of deep discomfort, and if it ignores your natural working style. Instead, build your own hybrid approach. Take the principles that resonate, adapt the methods that fit, ignore the parts that don't serve you. And to implement this, start with principles, not steps. I want you to ask yourself, what value do I want to provide? How do I naturally prefer to work? What does my situation actually allow? And how will I know if it's working? Then build your methods around those answers. Your framework should feel like it was designed for you because it was. If you think about it, you decide what framework you want to adopt. And if you want my complete guide that takes you through my framework and how to develop your own, I have a free email series called 21 Days to Products That Pay in the description below. Please check it out. And if you're looking for clarity about which direction you should actually go in, then you should watch the Ikigai video I made next. It will help guide you into where your expertise is and what you should be doing. See you in the next one.